When you think of drivers that have a lot of raw talent, you think of drivers like Tony Stewart, Robbie Gordon, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. Early in Kyle Busch's career, he showed right away that he was going to be a threat for many years to come, but he lacked racecraft. Once he figured out how to manage races, he started to be successful. As a matter of fact, he became the most successful driver in the 2010s and did most of his damage during that time period. After Kyle Busch won his second championship, many thought he would easily win another championship or two and get well over 70 career wins in a short period of time. Well, fast forward a few years later and he still only sits with 2 championships and has just over 60 career wins. Kyle Busch hasn't stopped winning, but he ain't winning as much as he used to. The 2020s has seen a different Kyle Busch. A Kyle Busch that isn't going out there dominating races and putting together 5 to 8 win seasons like he's accustomed to. The most wins he's got in a season after his second championship is 3. And when you sit down and break down all of Kyle Busch's wins in the 2020s, a lot of them are either few mileage wins or Kyle being at the right position when the leaders tangle in front of him and he's there to capitalize. His most impressive win by far in the 2020s was his 2023 Auto Club win when he outdueled Ross Chastain, pulled away and won. This was something that we used to see more from Kyle Busch, but the past few years, that's pretty much been non-existent. So what's going on? Some will point to Kyle Busch as just becoming washed. Some will point towards the team, or should I say teams. From 2020 to 2022, we've seen Kyle Busch not be at his best, and we're seeing it with RCR so far, even though 2023 was an improvement, at least in the win column. Not only Kyle Busch doesn't have that constant winning pace like we usually see, but he's making a lot of mistakes. How many times have we seen Kyle Busch spin out on his own since 2020? I've lost count. It's like looking at Kyle from his Hendrick days when he was constantly making mistakes. It's crazy to see. I think Kyle Busch isn't fully thriving because of lack of practice. Things changed a lot in 2020. Obviously, the pandemic happened and people changed the way they went about things, and NASCAR was no different. When NASCAR decided to be the first major sport to return, they didn't do any practice or qualifying. They used metrics to set the lineup and that was it. At the time, everyone thinks this is only because of the pandemic. It's not going to be something they stick with. But unfortunately, NASCAR did. 2021, they did the same thing. In 2022, they brought practice and qualifying back, but teams only get 20 minutes of practice, and it seemed like it's going to remain that way going forward, which is stupid. Lack of practice has impacted Kyle Busch in a negative way. Kyle is the best at describing the feel of the car. Kyle expects perfection. With 20 minutes of practice, yeah, you can feel the car out, but if your team wants to make wholesale changes, the driver won't be able to test that change until the next day, in the race. Yes, Kyle Busch has a lot of raw talent, and usually drivers with a lot of raw talent can just get in a race car and succeed. You would think lack of practice would give Kyle Busch the advantage because of his raw talent, but it hasn't. If Kyle Busch has the feel that he's looking for in his race car, he is the most dangerous driver in the field because the likelihood of him losing a race when the car is spot on is low. Kyle Busch is right up there with guys like Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain when it comes to having a car on the razor edge. Kyle Busch is going into these races not having that feel he wants in the car. He then goes into the race and has to feel the car out after whatever changes his team made overnight, but he also has to push because, well, he's in the race now. He's unsure how much he can push and then he steps over that line and spins out. You factor in the Gen 7 car, which is a whole new race car. Kyle Busch has admitted that whenever he tries to push with this car, he ends up making mistakes and he really doesn't know what to do. It's pretty surprising that out of all drivers, little to no practice has affected Kyle Busch the most. I'm not about to sit here and crap on Kyle for this because what's the old saying? Practice makes perfect. And some people just need practice to fully thrive in whatever they're doing, while some people don't need as much practice and they get it instantly. Everyone is playing under the same rules, I get that. But it's clear as day that Kyle Busch has suffered the most out of all drivers since they took away a lot of practice, and his results and constant mistakes on track shows it. I don't think Kyle Busch is washed, not even close. He's still running well for the most part, but we're not seeing Kyle Busch fully thrive mainly because lack of practice. You can't really point to it being a team issue because it's been this way with both JGR and RCR. RCR is more on the B tier when it comes to cup teams, so there's that. But Kyle Busch is a hell of a talent, and we've seen 2 other greats carry RCR to so much success, and now Kyle Busch is that third great to drive for that team. If NASCAR can just get their head out of the sand and give these teams at least, and I repeat, at least 1 hour of practice on a weekly basis, outside of the Daytona 500, that race deserves multiple practice sessions, then I feel like Kyle Busch can fully thrive again. Even though he's 38 as we're recording this video, I feel like he still has a lot left in the tank. Give him time to practice for at least an hour and he becomes the most dangerous driver in the field again. Until then, I don't think we'll see Kyle Busch fully thrive ever again. So what are y'all thoughts? Do y'all agree that Kyle Busch hasn't been the same because lack of practice, or is there another reason as to why? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up out of here. Y'all have a good one. Peace.